What's up, y'all? Welcome to the very first episode of The Last Word, where DMV sports meets real talk. I'm your host, Rusty Byrd, and I've got a strong bullpen of guest experts to bring the noise and bring the funk for this first episode, where we will discuss VHSL football. As you'll see, this isn't your average sportscast. We've got sports media professionals, we've got ballers, social media stars, and personalities that will bring their own passion to the game. The personalities and experts in our bullpen cover sports in Northern Virginia, the 757, 804, and everywhere the Commonwealth has real ballers. Now listen, this show will talk sports, of course, but in the future episodes, we'll talk about life. We'll talk about pop culture, movies, faith, comedy, community things going on, or whatever's moving the needle and keeping the streets buzzing. If you're looking for your cookie cutter, regular, old first take or fake takes type of show, you might want to find another thing. Because right here, we're going to bring it with our heart, even if we sound crazy like Jay Golson did 4 years ago, talking about Oscar Smith football. You are in the right place. Look, I've been in the game. I've played it. I've coached it. I've called it. From Friday nights to Sunday morning fellowships. I've been a part of sports, and I know how sports can build character, community, and even faith. That's why I started Team Jesus Sports Ministry, because competition can be ministry, and every field is a mission field. So whether you're watching from the bleachers, the barbershop, or the back pew, welcome to the show that asks, why worry about the first take when you can have the last word? All right. So thank you all for my guests. I'll let them introduce themselves. They're all special to me. They've all been on the show. They've all bring a lot of funk. But I'll go ahead on and start with you, Jay Golson.
Yeah, I'm Jay Golson. I moderate and started the Real Prince County Sports. Done it for about 2.5 years. Almost have 5,000 members. And that's it.
Jay is also a former high school football coach at Hilton. Now he's the voice of the Hilton Bulldogs football team and was the voice of Freedom Football when they won back-to-back state championships. Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
All right, now, Jeremiah Davis, my man, what's up?
What's going on, Russ? Jeremiah Davis here, just an old washed-up football player, washed-up coach, Fairfax County, and just a believer that all kids are capable of success, man.
Yeah, he's been very modest, y'all. He was an all-state, all-American football player at Annandale High School, played at Penn State, awarded number 86. He was a baller there and has been a head coach of 2 programs in Northern Virginia. Currently, is an assistant principal in Fairfax County Middle Schools, and he helps coach Loudoun County, where his son is a baller.
That guy's pretty good. That guy, I was just okay. That guy's the man, though.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Little Jerry Davis. He's the man. He is the man. Matt Hatfield.
He's modest. Yeah, he's modest, guys. And thanks for having me on. Your son might be player of the year material there in Region 4C on the defensive side of the ball. No doubt about it. Hey, Matt Hatfield, honored to be on again with you guys. Publisher for VirginiaPreps.com. It's part of the Rivals Network now with On3 Sports. I've been writing and covering high school sports since 2004. Publisher of the Virginia High School site since 2016. I've dabbled in all kinds of things when it comes to writing, correspondent work for the Suffolk News Herald, now with the Farmville Herald, Smithfield Times, done some radio with ESPN locally for over a decade, do a podcast now with me and Coach Ed Young, who's now coaching basketball at Smithfield at 757 Sports Talk, which you can find on Cova Sports TV on YouTube, and also watch it on TV on YourView and Cox Communications. It's in the Northern Virginia, Roanoke, Fredericksburg, and Tidewater markets 3 days a week. And I'm also the play-by-play voice for Old Dominion women's basketball for the past 4 years. So always fun to be covering sports this time of year, especially with the overlap as the winter sports start with the fall sports concluding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. We got a real professional right there. And 804 legend Lee Mary from Ballin and VA.
What up? I'm on 95 now. I'm good. Appreciate y'all working with me right now. I am Lee Mary, host of Ballin and VA. I do a Tuesday night live that I actually have every week, Tuesdays at 7:30. I'm a member of the Times Dispatch Club, a touchdown club here in Richmond. We also, I was a former assistant coach with Richmond Metro Basketball Club and Richmond AAU for 4 years. also assisted the Trinity Episcopal Titans in building their basketball program from 2013 to resulting in a 35-1 national ranking, number 11, and a state champion that featured Armando Baycott and others. So that would be it for me.
Good stuff, Lee.
Yeah. Lee is an 804 balling legend. Yeah, he knows all the right people. He's contributed greatly to the game and certainly grown just the whole culture of sports in that region. And I'm just really appreciative of all you guys joining the show. Let's get right into it. We're going into this is my first show, but I think it's the best time for me to have gotten started. In the preseason, you're kind of guessing weeks 1 and 2, 3, you're not in the district. So I waited until the last week of the high school football season before the playoffs, where all these games are something big. So a lot of times it's crosstown rivals. Sometimes it's in or out of the playoffs. And we're going to cover a couple of big games a little later in the show. A little bit about some of your top teams from your region. But before we do that, overall in the state, who would you all say are some of the top teams in the state?
Now, I can go first. I mean, for Region 6B, we have Battlefield, led by Brandon Murray, Keaton Ramey, both Division I players, and also Luke Hatfield, got into UConn. Patriot High School has Matthew Lamar, who was going to go to Penn State but decommitted. Woodbridge, led by quarterback Caleb Tucker, Huguenot Forge, and North Stafford. Those are the top teams from Region 6B.
Okay. Now, what about some other teams that may not be Class 6? I know Kettle Run is a great program.
Yeah.
And Riverbend.
Kettle Run, Riverbend, Stonebridge, and as well as that Riverbend. I mean, they beat Colonial Forge, and again, they're Class 5, but they can beat anybody in the state of Virginia.
Yeah, I want to talk to Matt about Riverbend's chances against Maury. Hey, Lee, tell us about that 804, dog.
And we got 804. We got Dinwiddie, number 1 right now, that's undefeated. They're in Class 4. I want to say that Gauntlet 4B region, man, that features Huguenot, Louisa, Verina. It's crazy down there, man. Also at Class 5, Highland Springs has returned to Class 5. So did Glen Allen. So that's going to be something to watch. Armstrong, undefeated, man. Congratulations to them. TJ is kind of teetering. They're kind of trying to figure it out, man. But not sure what you expect from them. Hanover, surprising teams. You got Hanover, Meadowbrook. I'm trying to think of somebody else right offhand, but that's the basis of what I can think of. Oh, Hermitage. Hermitage has been pretty good this year. So yeah, we have a lot of parity that's in the 804 this year. So it's really not just one dominant team. Record indicates that, but when matchup styles makes fights, man. So anybody can actually be beat this year.
That's the key.
Yeah, no doubt. JD, Jeremiah Davis.
So I'll try to break it down by divisions because I'm in Northern Virginia and we got a little menagerie of teams. So starting off with Division 6, you got Lake Braddock. I mean, they're at the top. They're at the top of the list. Try to stay out of Prince William County. So you will go Lake Braddock, Centerville. And it's hard without talking about Prince William, not talking about Patriot, Battlefield. I mean, they're all in that same kind of mix.
Yeah.
Get to Westfield and South County. And I wouldn't say they're having down years, but like it's some parity going on. And so any night somebody shows up, it can be a good one. I know I was at that Westfield Centerville game, came down right to the end. Quarterback made a great play. So again, some parity there in Division 6, but Lake Braddock's definitely at the top. Looking at Division 5, I mean, if you're just saying Northern Virginia, Stonebridge is it. I mean, if you don't count Riverbend in that mix, I mean, it's Stonebridge and then it's everybody else. When you're talking about Division 5.
This is the second year for
Golston.
Yep.
And I mean, they got Power 5 guys in the secondary, a linebacker.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all over the place. I mean, and they can get after you. And then talking about Division 4 again, getting out west into Loudoun County. You got Loudoun County High School, home of the Captains. Um,
Yeah.
they're pretty good.
They got a great coaching staff, I heard.
They're decent coaching staff that just working hard, man, with some kids that just would like to have fun and are good friends. They're good friends.
Yes.
Um, Loudoun Valley, and that game just happened a little bit ago, a couple
Yeah, I
weeks
was
ago.
there.
And that was a good one. And then you got Sharando, and Hanley as you get a little bit out toward Winchester. But in the Northern Virginia area, that's it. Those are some of those top teams that you would, consider, going out Route 7 all the way out to Winchester.
Matt Hatfield.
Well, there's 13 undefeated teams in Virginia High School League football going into the final week of the season. Only one is a defending champ, and that's Essex down at Class 1. 2 of the 6 classifications have just one unbeaten. Class 6, it's Manchester. They're trying to dethrone Oscar Smith, who's in its region, Region 6A. In Class 3, it's Magna Vista. We've got them currently ranked behind the 1 and 2 teams in Class 3, which I just watched in Lynchburg play a 35-33 classic where Heritage of Lynchburg beat their Seminole District rival Liberty Christian, the private school in the VHSL public school scene. It's won back-to-back state titles. Gideon Davis is no longer running the football for them. He's at Clemson, but they got a very good junior quarterback in Luke Gaither. Class 5, certainly Maury's the favorite, but maybe a little vulnerable this year. They played 3 really good opponents out of district. They ended up winning one, losing their first rather to Cardinal Gibbons of North Carolina. They came back and beat Verona in the second by a whisker.
Larry and I were at that Verona game. Yeah.
Yeah, they won a triple overtime classic the next week against Bishop McNamara. And since then, they've been whacking teams in their district by an average of 65-4. Yet there are 2 teams, as you guys outlined, in Class 5, with Stonebridge's ferocious defense and Riverbend, this emerging threat with its powerful running game that could be challengers. And oh, by the way, you've got unbeaten Green Run in Maury's backyard in Virginia Beach, and you have undefeated Patrick Henry Roanoke just laying in the weeds in a region that features a couple of 804 heavyweights like Highland Springs and Hermitage. Class 4's got a loaded region with Dinwiddie and Louisa, unbeaten's Dinwiddie post Harry Dalton. Louisa with the 5-star going to Michigan and Savion Carter leading the way at running back, the nation's #1 running back recruit. And oh, by the way, Huguenot and Verona, very, very talented, loaded teams as well. And then Class 2 is an interesting picture because you have some talented teams in the Richmond area with Thomas Jefferson of Richmond, Armstrong having a magnificent year as Lee mentioned, and then you have Pocosin from Tidewater has a methodical approach, and then out west you have Union, very balanced team that's a bruising running attack, and Glenver, who just has the record-setting touchdown pass leader in VHSL history, and Brody Doyot. He's committed to Charlotte, but has others.
Tell me, if you don't have to have one of each, but what teams may have surprised you this year, like they're overachieving, or are there any teams that you're surprised that they are not what they have been? And I'll give you examples of each. So for me, being from the Peninsula District, Phoebus. A lot of people are surprised that Phoebus it's won four in a row. Right. Now, the thing I'll say about Phoebus is this. They've had a few losses, but they're playing in Class 4. So they're not going, I'm not saying that makes it any easier than 5 or 6, but they are going to maybe be able to, reset when the playoffs come. Next is, and I called this game the other night, Madison Oakton. Do not let their record fool you. Going into the game, I had them. They were 4-4. They beat Oakton, their rival, neighborhood rival. They beat them, and they look good. And I think at first I was like, will they even make the playoffs? They will make the playoffs. And that is a team. If you're sleeping on them just because they've got 4 losses, you will be sadly mistaken, because all of their losses have been within, I think, less than 2 or 3 points each game. So those are some of the things that have stood out to me. Any teams for you all?
Yeah, for me, the surprise team for me is Colgan High School, because Colgan, they never won more than 4 games. Just they opened up, I think, 14 years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. So this year with George, the quarterback, George Hall III, they had 2 good receivers and the Musselman twins, Justin and Tyler. And unfortunately, they will probably go 7-3 and not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Imagine that, 7-3 and not make the playoffs. Yeah. The team that let me down was Gainesville High School. Now I saw Gainesville during media day with you, Rusty.
Yeah.
And there were some big studs walking in the room. And Gainesville's a school where they get probably about 80 players a year to come out. But just didn't mesh. I don't. Maybe it was chemistry.
And they have a new coach.
Yeah, new coach. He's a good guy. So they should come around next year. But Gainesville was one school I thought, along with Phoebus, that would have a better year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Lee, what any surprise teams for you?
Yeah, for mine,
whether it was good or bad.
I would say one. Well, I actually kind of got a 1A, 1B. Surprise team for me will be Dinwiddie, especially when you lose somebody like number 6, Harry Dalton. You know, you lose him to USC. You know, we all know what Billy Mills is. Billy Mills, one of the best coaches in the area, also the state. But nobody expected them to have an undefeated season so far. And my second team will actually be Armstrong. What they got a lot of, pieces in, and Coach Pruitt over there does an excellent job coaching those kids up. And, because we expected TJ, which would lead to my disappointing team, because TJ got a couple transfers in as well, especially with Dayron Ferguson coming in from Hollow Springs, first team All-State, class 6. Then the kid from Albemarle, wide receiver, that's an ODU commit as well. I can't think his first name, but last name is Harris. And then you got Mara Goff, the second Syracuse commit. And right now, I think they're 6-7-3, I think, something like that, 6-3, somewhere in there. And we expected them to kind of be much better than that. They struggled with Freeman, losing Freeman. They lost to Hermitage, Lynchburg, which we expected that. But we actually thought that Armstrong will have the record that TJ had, and expected TJ to have the record Armstrong, at least here in Richmond. Matt or someone who covers the state much more will probably, can tell you better than I can.
All right, Jeremiah, any teams for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it positive. I got 2 surprises, both out of Northern Virginia. One being W&L High School. They only got 2 losses, right?
Yeah,
and one of
that's
them,
a good one.
One of them was just a nail biter versus the crosstown rival Yorktown. They go into overtime with them. Josh Shapiro, the head coach over there, does a good job, and they've been in the mix. They beat Westfield this year. They and they've been in the mix before, and he's pulled off some sneaky games before, but definitely glad to see them in the mix. And the other is West Springfield High School.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about them in the show. Great coaching staff, father-son combo on the coaching staff. They were national media this summer for the stunt they pulled, but they backed it up. When it came versus South County, they backed it up when it was time to play.
I saw that.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. Not for no team I coach, but yeah, that's funny from the outside. Not as the head coach. I understand it. I get it. But yeah, those 2 teams. Pleasant surprise to see them get it going this year. Great for those kids in those communities. And again, we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. Huge game coming up for Byrd, VA this Friday night. Lake Braddock versus West Springfield.
Woo! Yeah, if it's been like the last couple of years, those 2 teams usually meet again in the regional semis or finals.
Absolutely.
Yep. Matt.
The guys pretty much nailed it there, Rusty. I mean, Jay hitting on Colgan, it shows what a coaching change can do, bringing in Coach White there to the Sharks, and Lee hit on the 804 thing. I thought it'd be the same like he did with Armstrong, probably being what TJ is and vice versa. Jeremiah, I love your pick, and I'll start there with Washington Liberty. I mean, they graduated a lot, but they're just so huge up front. I didn't think they'd have quite the year they've had. They've overachieved, in my opinion, and they can be dangerous in the playoffs. Another team in Class 6, guys, is Centerville. I mean, Coach Shields has got a heck of a group that I didn't see beating both Westfield and Madison back-to-back. Son at quarterback, Will, is a ball player, slinging that thing going to Albany, and they pulled out 2 games in the fire late. So they went on my radar as a team that was probably outside our top 10 to start the year to now maybe being a state caliber team qualifier.
They didn't have a good year last year, right?
No,
they've been surprisingly really down.
The 3 biggest improvements, guys, if you look at the win-loss from last year, would be Centerville, Lake Taylor in Class 3, which will hit on Hank Sawyer, which I saw that coming. He brought back about 18, 19 starters. He had an uncharacteristic down year for a guy who's won 3 state titles. In Chilhowie in Class 1, which a lot of people don't know about, but they were very good. Just knocked off Rye Cove here recently, and they were my pick to be the most improved. But a couple more surprises. Riverbend, I didn't think they'd be quite this good and go beat Colonial Forge the way they did with that running attack. And after JoJo Thomas graduated, you said, well, that was a special player. Well, they've got some more special players. And then 2 more on the pleasant surprise mark before I hit on a couple of underachievers. And I don't mean to be mean in saying underachievers, but Broadway in Class 3 and Craig County in Class 1. Craig County was not on my radar at all. They're this year's Bath County. They're unbeaten. I still don't have a lot of faith in them going far in the playoffs, but to be unbeaten this time of year in November, I don't care if you're playing cupcakes or you're playing heavyweights. That's doing something right. You're accomplishing something. So kudos to them and that staff and those kids. On the not quite meeting my expectations, which can sometimes be too lofty for teams, I'll go Hopewell in Class 3. They got a big lineman going to Oklahoma. I thought they'd be a little better than what they are. Salem, out of Salem, Virginia. They're always in a state playoff hunt. They started out 0-4 this year, the Spartans, who are a perennial power, and they can sneak in as an 8 seed and be a very live, dangerous 8 seed. But I saw them scrimmage Maury in early August, and I thought they'd be a top 10 team in Class 4. They haven't been that. Radford in Class 2, not quite as good as I thought. Phoebus, obviously, they graduated a ton. You give them a little bit of a pass, though, because they've won 4 in a row. Didn't think they'd be struggling to the extent they have, though. And that pretty much covers the ones I think and Narrows in Class 1. I thought Narrows would be a little bit better than what they are. Still have time to turn it around here if the playoffs start and they pull off an upset. But those will kind of be the hits and misses going back to our rankings, which at the end of the day, they mean nothing. So,
hey, Rusty. Remember, picking the unachieving teams. Remember at Media Day, Gar-Field High School?
Yeah.
And you scolded them on being no energy?
Yes. And yes, I did.
And they lose Friday night to Woodbridge. Guess what? They're eliminated. So they also have underachieved this year was Gar-Field High School.
Yeah, you're right. I got on them.
You did.
I got on them. I was like, it looked like y'all don't even want to be here. And the coaches, I was saying that coach in me was like, what's going on?
Exactly.
And there's a few other teams. I won't say their name, but I saw that this year, where as soon as things weren't going their way, they put their heads down and it was a wrap. Yeah. But no, good point. Yeah, that's right. If they lose. All right. Now, what I want to do next, guys, if I want each of you to talk about your region. Give me maybe your top 10. I said you could go top 5, top 10, whatever you feel, but just so you might have mentioned a couple of them there as a surprises, but what do you think, and it can be in any class, what are some of the top teams from your region or your area, Coach Davis, in Northern Virginia?
I mean, we got to start off at the top with, like I said, Lake Braddock.
Lake Braddock's
right at the top of that list. Stonebridge. And again, Stonebridge is back to that level where they can play whatever Division 6 schools. They went to Baltimore. Like they can play anybody. Centerville is now in that mix of those teams, as you said before. And then you get into your Patriot, and again, like I said, you start to get out of our region a little bit. As far as county-wise, but still in that Northern Virginia area. I'll throw the county captains in there, man. But again, 14. But we played some tough top competition. Went out of state, played out in West Virginia, lost one in double overtime. But those are probably the top teams in Northern Virginia, just to name a couple.
And I'm going to ask each of you this. Okay. Do you think of those teams that each one has a legitimate shot in their class? Would you, and especially, and Matt, you could talk about this, because the way their pairings this year, they're not going like just Fairfax. Then Fairfax not going to be guaranteed a team in the state finals. They're going like they did 2 years ago, where, what is it? I think it's
C. Lake Braddock will play the winner, the Lake Braddock division will play the winner of Region 6B, which is Colonial Forge, Battlefield, Woodbridge, that division.
It's different across the board, Rusty, because like in Class 6 that Jay hit on, it's A versus D and B versus C. 5, it's A versus C, B versus D. 4, it's the top 4. They reseed them. 3, they cross bracket. You need like a compass and a map to know who's doing what for what classification, basically.
Right.
And I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to touch on that because, this is year 21 of me coaching year 20 in Northern Virginia. Crazy, man. Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Well, real quick, Coach Davis, I think 4's got it right. I've been saying for years, I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're from the 757, 804, Nova, Roanoke. I really don't care. I want the 2 best teams at the end of the year. I don't care if they're from the same place or not. And I think 4, by seeding them by power ratings with the top 4, I think that's the way you do it. And most of the coaches I've interacted with, and you guys can chime in too, be it Rusty, Jay, Lee, I think that's the fairest way to do this.
Yeah, it kind of resets. It resets the area. You know what I mean? When the playoffs starts, it resets the area. But what was concerning to me, before you at least knew there was a PowerPoint formula, right? And somebody somewhere would do it, or VHSL reference, or so you could plug it in and you knew what you got, right? Now they went to the regional level of
each region does their own.
Everybody does their own. And then I was just going to touch on what Matt Hatfield said, is that, at least if you can't do it right in the beginning of shuffling teams and kind of pairing them by, strength, we do it differently in 4 where they mash it up at the end. And then you kind of get the cream rises to the top. So it will be interesting to see those matchups. And there is no clear, just from and again, I'm still coaching, and so real focus on the team that I'm working with, but just looking at the scores every Friday, it's getting like college football. And it's not, and it's not because of the transfer thing. I think it's the opposite. I think because it's becoming a little tighter, kids are staying where they are, coaches are working with what they work with. And now you get some parity, and now you get some people who want to beat those guys over there. And I think that's really good for high school sports.
I totally agree. Lee, Mary, what are some of the top teams, regardless of class, in the 804?
God, like I said, like Matt, I forgot Manchester, but Manchester, they're undefeated. For me, Varina, I think they're going to be the most dangerous team, considering what they've been through this year. That defensive line, that defense as a whole, top notch. Armstrong, despite their schedule, they've been beating people the way they're supposed to be. Wherever you play, you just beat them, and they've been doing that. Highland Springs is going to be Highland Springs. We didn't know what they were going to be, considering what they were last year. But again, Coach Johnson always coaching those kids up over there. Then you're on the private side, you have Trinity and Benedictine and St. Chris. Like 3 of them are actually in the Vista playoffs. So, and 2 of them are actually playing each other. I saw Trinity play yesterday, beat Benedictine in a thriller. And I'm telling you right now, man, it's just going to be a toss-up. You just don't know who's going to be who. And then you see St. Chris beat Huguenot earlier this year. I think it was the first game this year. So I don't know, man. I love the parity. I like the kids staying where they are. It was fun when they was moved around, but I like the parity the way it is. So we just don't have a clear-cut anybody of what they're going to do this year. But I got my money on Varina, just considering what they went through. If they can actually go on the road and do what they do with being what their defense is, I think they can close it. If they get out of 4B, I don't see nobody beating it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Jay.
Don't get mad at me, Prince William County. Okay.
Oh, they're gonna get mad at you no matter what. Cause I got a beef with some of the stuff the way you do your top 5 each week. I got beef with you, but go ahead.
The best all-around team in Region 6B is Battlefield. The best defense is Patriot. The best quarterback and receiver in Caleb Tucker and Vinny Hill is at Woodbridge. The best coach team is Colonial Forge. Now, Woodbridge, listen carefully, Woodbridge can go 9-1 and be the 5th seed, which means they will not host a playoff game. Now, Rusty, you know me about traveling.
I
To
know.
go to this
You know that
school
bus.
1 week, this school week 2, this school week, you get tired. Okay, the Woodbridge is talent. Those guys, there's some dogs on a Woodbridge team.
Yeah.
But my
I
thing
was
is,
at their only loss. North Stafford is really good.
hey, North Stafford's also a good team as well. They're the most athletic team, North Stafford. So my thing is with Woodbridge, they have the talent, but to not have any home games, I don't know.
Well, remember though, Jay, last year Colonial Forge won that region as a 6th seed, winning 3 straight playoff games on the road. So it can be done. But I'll say this right now, and maybe Jeremiah Lee can back me up, and Rusty. I think people always have the argument: what's the best region in the state of the 6 classifications that have 24 regions here for each classification? I think it's really, and you can have D other. I would go your options if you do A, B, C, D multiple choice: 6B, 5B, and 4B, and D is other. Right now, I might give the slight edge to 4B, which has those heavyweights at the top with Dinwiddie, Huguenot, Louisa. I mean, and again, Dinwiddie, Huguenot, Louisa, and Verina. That's your top 4. But 6B, it's so large. The depth that Jay's talking about, you have a 5 seed that could be a 9-1. And then, oh, by the way, 5B, when you got Maury, who's 2-time defending champ, but then you've got Kings Fork, Mansburg, Warwick. They're all really good. And Bethel's got the area's leading rusher. Shout out to your school, Rusty. With Amari Pryor going to Hampton. He's a 5 seed. He's got almost 2,000 yards rushing. So, and then there's somebody else that is lurking in there that's in D. Like someone will be chirping up that watches and says, what about 3C where we got Liberty Christian and Broadway's 9-1? So there's some regions out there that have some really competitive battles that'll make the semifinals so fun to see when we get there, the weekend before Thanksgiving weekend, that you could have a couple surprises. And in the big picture, I think, even though I was going to say this for the close, is I was a big proponent of going to 6. I thought 8 was too many, 4 was too few. The data shows since 2017 that 1 and 2 seeds against 7 and 8s are 272 and 21. That's a 92.8% win percentage. Now, last year we did have 1 8 seed, which was in 2B. Madison County beat a 1 seed that was 10-0 in Clark County. I got a sneaky suspicion, going back to the parity you guys talked about, there's going to be an 8 seed that knocks off a 1. I'm not sure who it is when it gets paired up, but I think we'll go to the table, in years from now. If the margins are by 40, 50 points, there was that big story a few years ago when Phoebus put up 100 on Jamestown. Do we need to look at this because some regions have gone? I think there's about 4 regions in the state that have gone to 6 teams. Is that the best way to do this, to give the 1 and 2 seeds, reward them for their hard work to get a bye week before the playoffs start for them?
I agree with that. I like that.
Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds good. Now, I will say, that to me, 6B is tough, man. First of all, we got 19 teams.
19 teams.
19 teams. And like Jay said, you got if Colgan wins a 7-3 Colgan, it's on the outside. They're number 10 right now.
Playing equipment.
And then Gar-Field, Forest Park could be looking on the outside. And so it's going to be interesting. Because even though Forest Park plays Hilton, I want to see how all these points calculated at the very end. It's different. I remember having Brian Westhoff for my show with you, Jay, called him a professor because he knew the formulas. A UVA grad, smart guy like me, VCU and UVA. But he figured out the formulas. You can't do that now. Every region's got some secret hocus pocus, whatever.
If Forest Park wins, they're in as an 8 seed.
Okay.
That was confirmed.
Yeah. So let's see how this all plays out. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for that insight. Now what I want to do before we're going, the last thing is we've got 8 big games that we want to that we think are some of the top games. Now, if we missed your game, we're sorry, but some of these they're big because these are great teams. Others, they're good teams, but it's also a traditional rivalry game. And I'd like to start with everybody's pick and I'm going to go with this because I played in this game, but the Hampton-Bethel game is back to a bit of prominence. For years, growing up in the 757, that was the game in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Bethel, we had won 3 state championships. Hampton has won 17. It really was going playing that game, no doubt. Like Darling Stadium was rocking. It was 15,000 people in there, and it was live. It's not, no, and I want to have a whole nother thing on on attendance and participation and all that. But yeah, I look now at those games and in the stands, I saw Phoebus, Bethel, and it hurts me. But anyway, so we've got games like that. Then we've also got Manchester Huguenot. We've got Hermitage Tuesday. So let's start. We'll go kind of round robin. I'll start with you, Jay. Jay, we'll first cover Hampton Bethel. Who would be your pick for this? And if you're smart, you'll say Bethel.
Let me say this. A 17-year-old Rusty Byrd is not coming on that field.
Oh, my Lord.
Dwight Vick, I know you're watching. I'm going with Hampton.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now, I'll say this. Dwight's not here, but Dwight's nephew is one of the star athletes for my Bruins.
I know. Yeah.
And he is committed to the University of Virginia, unlike his uncle and cousin, Michael and Dwight Vick. But yeah, so I love when Bethel gets this win. But Matt, you're a 757 expert. Who would you say?
Well, let's give some love there real quick to Derek Fisher, who you mentioned, the UVA commit, who's Dwight's nephew, and Michael Vick, the Norfolk State coach's cousin, former All-Pro in the NFL. They don't have a young Rusty Byrd, Jay, but they've got Amari Ferrari Pryor, who leads the 757 in rushing right now with 1,789 yards and 33 touchdowns.
Whoa.
He's killing it. But Rusty, I hate to do this to you. I got the Crabbers something like 34-21 because I'm not sure the defense will stop Marcus Chapman, who's one of the better quarterbacks. Outside of his one really yucky game against Glen Allen, he's been really strong this year and sharp for them. He's a D1 prospect, and Hampton's won 12 consecutive in this series. The last time the Bruins broke through was in 2012. So give me the Crabbers by a couple of scores. I think they take it.
That's fine. We bring the hate. No, you're doing analytically. I love Jay's just hate. Jay doesn't have any analytics to it. All right, Lee.
Man, let's just make this thing simple. We should actually add Bethel to the underachieving list because Bethel had such high expectations this year. Actually, I was supposed to do a podcast with them back on August 26th that I had to cancel for personal reasons. You've heard so much, promise about them. I mean, yeah, you got for the kid per year. Peebles did a good job against him. I don't even think he had 50 yards rushing that game. And then you got Derek Fisher and everybody. But I hate to tell you this, man. Basically, Hampton on the roll right now, man. And right now, yeah, Hampton is going to beat them, and I give about 2 touchdown leads. Basically, after seeing what they did against Warwick, seeing what they did against I can do that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I go with them.
No, that's all good. Jeremiah, you in my wedding.
I'm just saying, I don't got no dog in this fight. Hopefully, we get to play one of these teams. You know what I'm saying, later on. But
I'm a mentor by Bruin.
I would, and I had a little cousin that played for Bethel also. So we going, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Bethel Bruins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bethel Bruins. We going with those guys.
Right there. Man. So I appreciate that. And that's why, Jeremiah, I know you know the game so well. I appreciate your analysis. And of course, I'm gonna go with Bethel. And I'm gonna say this. What I love about this is that you're right. We don't have as many athletes going to different schools, and it's bringing some of the parity back. But I also want to give those coaches a lot of credit. Woodrow Wilson, the head coach at Hampton High School, was a beast as a player in high school and college at Hampton and at NC State. But he came in there, they figured things out. They're keeping kids that in there in that Hampton zone. We're keeping kids in the Bethel zone. I love what Warwick's doing. If I'm not mistaken, this is their coach's first year.
Yeah, Coach Sykes' first year.
Yes, first year. Yeah. So I'm loving it. I love that the Peninsula District is getting a lot more parity. And I'm even excited to see teams like Denby that barely existed 3 years ago. They're competitive. They're winning games.
Let me tell you something, man. Y'all waiting for the PD to come back. PD ain't going to ever come back, man. It's just not going to be. Y'all can sit up here and go and talk about the PD glory years. The glory years is what it is. It ain't coming back. It just ain't. Because, and let me back that up and let me tell you why. And for the very thing that you said, and, you guys disagree with me, but let's do fact check. That's what I do. Now, first of all, the reason why it's not going to be, look at your attendance. I think, I ain't going to say I think, I know. The problem with the 757, you did it to yourself. You guys had so much greatness over those early years back in the 90s. Your expectations is too high. And when your expectations so high, when you talk about football in Hampton Roads, they want great players. They don't really know these players that's out here right now. You got names, but it's nobody that they really can significantly say, I'm going to put seats, butts in those seats. And then the thing about it, with all these stipulations that Hampton Roads got, as far as, with the way the games and stuff like that, and then it's just outdated. These kids don't care about history. They care about other things. And as far as the social media aspect, you got these new social media platforms that are going live. You got the school systems. You can't even get media passes to get on the field, whether you're in town or out of town. So you really don't have a connection to the community. And when you don't have a connection to the community, why would anybody do you any favors by trying to cover the game? Nobody really covered the games like talking about in the Hampton Roads area. You just not. Outside of what you do in Norfolk with Maury and outside of Oscar Smith, who really is going to the games in the PD? You're not. Look at the attendance. You can go to the YouTube
but I
network.
can tell you, I have a theory on that, but I'll let Matt go first.
Yeah, but you can go to the. Go ahead.
I think you make a good point, Lino. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think you make a great point. You're spot on about the nostalgia piece. There is a lot of people that are caught up on the greatness that was witnessed in the 90s when you had Curry and Iverson and Vic and this run that might never be matched again. And people get spoiled. And I'll just say it out loud. I'll make people in my own hometown of 7x7 upset. They're spoiled. I'll take a little bit of slight disagreement with you on the media element with the coverage. I think it's not that. Because there's some people out there that are trying to be. I think it has nothing to do with that. And there are conveniences staying home and watching games now. I think the fact there's just two stadiums spread out on 3 different nights, Darling, Todd, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, has more to do with it. But the attendance has, if you did a real study check on this statewide, there are some rivalry games that still have the passion and cachet. But the attendance, this is even a little bit before COVID, but especially post-COVID, has dwindled in some parts. I've gone to games outside the PD and in the PD, and even statewide. I'll give another great example. I thought the Heritage and Liberty Christian game in Lynchburg would be absolutely bonkers packed. It was a nice crowd on Friday night, but part of it was Halloween. Part of it is people have adapted their lives to different things. But I think you're spot on completely with the nostalgia piece. People are so caught up into wanting to have that run of the Hampton dominance or the Kozlowski era at Bethel. Those days, it's hard to ever match that again. And I think other regions will probably encounter that years from now. Maybe this could happen in the 804, post the Lauren Johnson era at Highland Springs. This could happen. We thought it might happen the post Mickey Thompson era at Stonebridge, but we'll get to that. Stonebridge has in 1 year quickly turned things around. So I think teams go through cycles, areas go through cycles, but the bigger thing I think is just the stadiums and it being spread out in 3 different days is the main reason why you're seeing the attendance really shrink.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have let you go.
Because nobody's going to games on Saturday. People want to watch college football on Saturday, and you got recreational games. So you 100%. Put in these games, so you're getting rid of the Friday night games for Thursday games and for Friday games for whatever reason they're doing it. It's killing the attendance. You come to the 804. You can go to a Midlothian Huguenot game, packed. You go to a Hermitage Highland Springs game, packed. A Hermitage Verona game, packed. Verona and Highland Springs always packed for years. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You guys have to figure out what it is that you be able to get these butts in the seats, because we even still have RVA Sports Production, and you have other outlets that actually stream these games, and you still getting people. But I can tell you what another part of the reason is too. These ADs, some of these athletic directors of these schools, they're outdated. The problem is they have no connection to the community. I've tried to get media passes to get access to come to those games, and I can name all those schools that I try to get access to. Outside of the ones that I've interviewed, They don't want anybody on those sidelines to covering the games. They have no access to the community. You don't have any vendors or anybody in the stands or at the game, so you can, just interaction. It's just, when I go to Hollis Springs, you got vendors, you got police presence that's actually out there chatting with the community, and the games are packed. Even on a night when they're playing somebody like Friendship Collegiate, you still have people in the game coming to these games that are connected to the community. And if you're not connected to the community, Ronald Curry ain't walking through that door. I don't know how many times I'm gonna tell y'all. Michael Vick ain't walking through that door. Aaron Brooks ain't walking through that door. And they keep expecting great from these kids, and it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
I agree with some of the things you're saying about nostalgia. That's true. But I think, and Matt said it, I was going to say this, but I think the biggest problem right now is in agreeing with you, is that the athletic directors and leadership in athletics in Hampton and Newport News have been way behind the times. I was screaming when I started this podcast. I don't know if I had a big impact, but I was saying, why do we still have grass fields with 4 teams sharing one field in Hampton and 5 teams sharing a field, one Todd Stadium field in Newport News? And it was the biggest deal in the world to get turf. My son's middle school had 2 turf fields. It shouldn't have been that hard of a thing to do, but I think the biggest thing is, and you said it is, we don't have a home field. If we're having to play, like I hope to get home this weekend, but the Hampton Bethel game is on a Thursday night. Like,
right.
I live in Northern Virginia. How am I going to get to that game and then get back to work on Friday? It's a Thursday night, or they're splitting the stadium in Newport News, and teams have to play at 12, and then other teams play later in the day on a Saturday. And that takes away from it. Jay, to me, it's also about the team pride and the school pride. Colgan High School has not won more than 4 games a year in the first 9 years. This year they've won 7. But you could go to a Colgan game when they were 1-6, and the stadium was packed.
Let me add,
not everybody's there for the game, but they've made it a social event. Like, it's where you want to be. Everybody's not watching the game, but that's where your friends are, whether you're staying. And that's the problem also, is you don't have a home stadium. It's a city stadium. So you can't just stay after school and go to the game.
And let me tell you something, and let me add to that. And that's the thing, and that's the biggest problem. You look at college football with Miami Hurricanes. They're playing a college team who don't have a home stadium. You're not going to get the electricity of that crowd playing in a professional football stadium. And Hampton suffers from the same thing. And it's like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is the thing, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. If they don't fix the problem, the biggest thing that Hampton Roads have right now, after next year, it's gonna die. So I don't know what sports-wise that they're actually gonna have in Hampton that they're going to be able to capitalize and build off of it, because again, you got Fairweather, Johnny Gill friends. Because if it ain't no Ronald Curry or Michael Vick out there, they ain't going to the game. They're not going. So you guys talk about, we got the best fans, we got the historical fans. Guess what? Update your resume, because guess what? None of those players and everybody that's coming through this door. Look at Northern Virginia. My son lives in Manassas. He go to a Battlefield Patriot game packed. You go to any go to any other region in Virginia, but if you talk to the people, the blind people that live in the 757 area, most of them, they're blind and delusional, because they still think that the heyday is coming back. It ain't coming back. It's never going to be like it was.
But I will say this. Hold on.
We don't need a heyday.
Phoebus has won the last 4 state championships.
But guess what?
Right.
In
class 3 and class 4. We're winning state championships.
No. See, you're missing the point. And that's what y'all do. You go by championship. Well, if you're winning 4 championships, why you can't go to the game and pack the stadium out? It ain't helping. You guys don't even have No. You can't talk about
Church finger.
What you're talking about. But you're talking about winning state championships, but it's not transiting to putting people in the stands. It's just for talking points. That's all you got.
So real quick, just as as a coach and as an administrator, but as a coach and a parent of a kid that's playing right now, winning matters. I mean, if we go 10-0 and don't nobody come to the game, I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's on the ticket sales, but we the best team. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to it, it isn't about how many people coming to the game. It's about the product that's on the field and what's getting done. And so I do understand there is a community component, and you want to encourage that. That promotes the stature of the area, of that school, of the whole district. It makes it a big deal. It is a big deal in Richmond. I work for USA Football. Rest of them know that, and I traveled around the country and the state, training people in different footballs. And I've done my former teammate Michael Robinson. We've done the whole Richmond City youth leagues, and it's a big deal in Richmond. It just is. Football is a big deal there. Northern Virginia, people got other stuff to do. I mean, but when it's
a big game,
right? a big game comes around, people show up.
Let me say this also.
But I do got to harp on that point real quick, Russ. Is that I ask this all the time in meetings, right? Do you want to be right or do you want to win, right? And winning matters. You know what I mean? And so it doesn't matter if your stands are full or not, but if your team is smacking the other team, they can have a full stand over there to watch them take it out.
One of the biggest problems.
Y'all can be in denial all y'all want to.
No,
it's okay.
This cannot be helpful. This cannot be helpful. You can't have teams beating teams 90-0 and then expect the fans to come out, whether you're the winning or the losing team. When you've got teams like Denby, Woodside, Minchfield, Hermitage, Kecoughtan, even Bethel over the last, if the teams are so lopsided, and this is all high school, Freedom High School was winning state championships, and they didn't have a lot of people in the stands, and they had to feel, but now there's nobody going to the game. And so winning makes a difference, and losing and getting crushed makes an even bigger difference. Matt?
Well, one other thing, and I appreciate Coach Davis sharing his perspective on it as a coach and administrator, because I think it's important. I will say this. I don't think Lee's wrong. I think there does need to be a way to reconnect with the community, especially for us in the 757. But I'll tell you right now, who does it better than anybody? Better than Nova, better than Richmond, better than Tidewater. The people in Southwest Virginia, they live and breathe their high school sports. Those folks out at Abingdon and Union, and I know this from watching it on the NFHS network and watching it. Those people can tell you who the backup long snapper. They live and breathe every play. But I feel like part of it goes beyond the high school. This would be a long discussion, so I don't want to spend too much more time on it because we want to get to the next games like Gar-Field, Woodbridge, and West Springfield, like Braddock, and so forth, so on and so forth. But I think I've seen it covering sports in just in the 757 in general. Some of our minor league hockey and baseball teams and our college teams have seen the attendances like roller coasters. And I think a lot of it, and this would be a whole other discussion for another time, is how the games are presented and covered and the exposure. I could be wrong on this, so I want to be careful how I say this, but I think Tidewater is one of the only areas in the state that does not have live, televised, or radio games on a weekly basis. They have live streamed games. Right. We used to, I know, and being part of televised broadcasts, it helped get the word out there. But I think the biggest thing, and Coach Davis knows this, you got to get those student bodies out there. When I watch games and I see the packed student bodies, I don't care if you're in Nova, Tidewater, Richmond, whatever, the student bodies matter. And the thing that's been sad and disappointing is there needs to be a little bit more connection with the students. So I think if there's a lot of layers to it, I don't think it's going to necessarily die, but it does need to be rectified or it could become worse of an issue. I think that's where it starts at the core of getting the kids out there, because I can tell you right now, when I used to run my Virginia Preps Classics at Virginia Wesleyan for basketball, I marked down the student ticket down to like $5. Like, why so cheap? I'm like, I want to get those kids there instead of on their phones watching it on Twitter or X, because they'll go buy stuff at the concession stand. You'll make your money back that way. That you have to get more kids in there somehow, some way. So I don't know what the plan is for Hampton and Newport News, or even beyond that in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, but they got to get more of the youth out there. And you know how this goes. This is another discussion for our time. It also gets kids off the streets and being productive and involved with athletics. So I think there's a lot of layers to it. And hopefully with more people coming to the table to help collaborate on this, it can improve.
Yes. We're going to move on to the next, but that is what this show is all about. Like, we could have had Lee in with the last word on his position on that, and that was great. But that's what this show was going to be about. We want to hear that passion. Lee's talking from what he's seen, from what he's feeling, and what he's experienced. So good stuff. I appreciate all that, guys. Let's go through these next couple of games. Next, did everybody pick? Yeah, everybody had a pick. And so far, I think Jeremiah and myself seem to be the most knowledgeable. Let's move on to Gar-Field Woodbridge. Jay,
I'll go first. Okay. Now again, this is a big game. If Gar-Field loses, they're eliminated. Woodbridge wins, they will stay at the 5 seed, but may go to the 4 seed if Patriot loses. Now, Gar-Field has a great quarterback in Troy Hamlin, a great linebacker in L.J. Richards. Woodbridge has Caleb Tucker, who has a record year passing, and a great receiver in Vinny Hill. Like I said, Gar-Field this year, since media day, have not had that oomph in them. So I'm going with Woodbridge.
All right.
Gar-Field season will be over this Friday.
Wow. Okay. Jeremiah?
I'm gonna make a pick, man, because I'm gonna appeal to those guys. I hope they see this, man. You fighting for your season. You're gonna give a great effort. As a senior, those seniors on the team back against the wall, that coaching staff who's done a good job to bringing that back to prominence. I mean, this is battle for Potomac Mills right here, buddy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? These are a couple games. These are backyard battles. We talking about you grew up playing youth ball together. You live right down the street. You go to church together. This your cousin is right over there. But I'm gonna appeal to Gar-Field. I played many games over there in high school battles, but I'm gonna appeal to those guys with those back against the wall. Hopefully they pull it out on Friday.
All right. Okay. Matt.
Yeah, part of the Great American Rivalry Series, like you said, Rusty, with other games such as Hampton Phoebus and Verona Highland Springs. And it is do or die time, as Jay mentioned. He gave him bulletin board material for Gar-Field. This is your time. Put up or shut up here. I do think they're going to play better. They just scored 28, I think it was, against Patriot on Halloween, lost it close. The last 2 years it's been 14-7, 22-7. I think it's tied late, but at the end, that Tucker to Hill connection, give me Woodbridge by a score late to just eke it out and break the hearts of the Red Wolves.
Okay. And then I'm going to go. I've called for Prince William Sports and Entertainment. I've done the broadcast as the analyst 2 of Gar-Field games this year. I saw Gar-Field beat Colgan, and I saw Gar-Field beat Forest Park, but I thought it was a lot closer than it should have been. And then I've also seen Woodbridge, but I saw the one game they lost against North Stafford, and I was really impressed with what Woodbridge has there. Either team could win this game, but I'm going to go with Woodbridge. I've been impressed with their receivers. Of course, Caleb, the quarterback, was a part of Freedom's state championship teams as a freshman and sophomore as the backup. And I'm a little concerned about what I saw at Media Day from Gar-Field. And I've coached some of those athletes. Warren Freeman, Quack, the star running back, very familiar with him. I coached him in track for a number of years. He's a great athlete, comes from a wonderful family. And I know L.J. Richards transferred from Colgan, who played with my son. But I would go with, I'm going to be going with Woodbridge in this one. All right. Next game, North Stafford against Riverbend.
No, I know this one. Yeah, I know this one. I mean, North Stafford has had a great year. Riverbend beat Colonial Forge. The thing is that if North Stafford wins this game, then Battlefield will drop to a 3 seed.
And they'll be a 2, yeah.
And so Riverbend, I heard they're really good from Forest Park players and parents. So I'm going with Riverbend on this one.
Okay. Jeremiah?
I'm rolling with my pick so far. I'm the guy that's champion for the underdogs. No player on North Stafford. And they're gonna pull one out this week.
Okay. All right. Lee?
I heard about North Stafford. I heard about Riverbend, but I'm going to roll with Riverbend. Keep it simple.
Okay. Sounds good. I will go. I'll save you for last, Matt. I've seen North Stafford. Now, I know Riverbend is really good. I've seen them over the years, not this year, but I was thoroughly impressed with North Stafford. This is a Class 5 versus Class 6, so they won't meet each other in the playoffs, but this is still a rivalry game because of proximity. But I'm going to pick North Stafford for this one. Matt?
Yeah, Riverbend's averaging 49 points per game. I mean, it seems like it's the wise way to go with the quarterback Ian Shook, the Massaponax transfer, and the running back Camden Simmons. But I'm going to go with you, Rusty, and call for the slight, if you want to call even an upset, because I think Jay made a good point earlier. Most athletic team in Region 6B is North Stafford. They lost by 1 to Battlefield, 1 to Colonial Forge. I've been disrespecting and hating on Riverbend all year, so they can shut me up again here. But they've lost 2 games at 1 point. Let's say they win this one by 1 point, 31-30. And I can see Kanaz Sullivan, remember that name, junior, 2027 talent, making a big play either on defense, offense, or special teams that perhaps swings it in a back and forth tilt. I will be surprised if either team blows out the other. I think this is a close game.
Right. Jeremiah, we'll let you start. I know you know these teams. You played against them in the Patriot District as an athlete, in football, basketball, track. West Springfield, Lake Braddock. I've covered this game the last 2 years in the regions. Two really good teams.
Talk about the community showing up. Byrd, Virginia.
Oh my gosh.
They're gonna come out. They're gonna come
Yeah.
out. It's gonna be rowdy. They might have to talk to the refs before the game.
Yes.
Lake Braddock has a Norfolk State commit at quarterback right now. That's lighting it up. But West Springfield's been gritty all year long. Haven't lost by much. They just Coach Parker and them, they do a great job over there with those guys. And they'll get up for this one. I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this. I think this is an overtime game.
Oh,
I'll leave it at that. I think this is an overtime game. It's been going around. If you check the scores in Northern Virginia, that's been going around. This overtime, this overtime pandemic has been going around in Northern Virginia. It's the craziest thing. Every week there's a couple. This is going to happen this week, this game, and it's going to come down to that third phase of special teams. So I'll leave it at that.
All right. And you selected the winner? West Springfield. Okay. All right. Lee.
This is very easy for me because I'm just tell it like it is. So y'all know me. I'm always gonna go off the rails. I like nothing about Lake Braddock. So
I was gonna say from that Highland Springs game,
I can't stand anything about Lake Braddock. I don't like the word Lake Braddock. So I'm rolling with West Springfield. Anybody who plays Lake Braddock, I don't give a damn if they 0-10. I'm rolling with them.
Woo. It's going to be like the Highland Springs Verona thing, Lee, where you say, or Ohio State, Michigan, the team down the road, just call them the team from that area code. Don't even call them by the name, right?
Right.
That part. See, y'all get it. I love y'all.
Yeah. Matt.
Well, I'm surprised by that one, Coach Davis, because I sort of wrote West Springfield off, and maybe foolishly when they were 1-2 and lost to Chantilly and Madison back-to-back. We have the Massey ratings, which is a simulator that I pick games against on our VIP board on Virginia Preps, and the Massey ratings have 34-22 Lake Braddock. Sounds about right to me. I don't know if West Springfield get enough stops to that quarterback who's going to NSU and Ty Jackson is a dual threat. So give me the Bruins. I don't think it goes under the wire, but I think they win it.
Jay Golson.
Like Lee, I don't like Lake Braddock either. But West Springfield did lose to Chantilly, who's not a great team. And Lake Braddock wants to hopefully have a home field advantage in state semifinals. They play a Region 6B team. So I'm going with Lake Braddock on this one.
Okay. All right.
I just hope if Coach Doc watches this, guys, he doesn't get mad at me. I don't hate you, Lake Braddock. That was Jay and Lee, okay? I have no hate in my heart for you guys. So if I ever come to a game, throw eggs at me, please.
Coach, you ain't never got to worry about me coming to a game. I can't stand y'all. So there it is. Ball NBA said it.
I used to watch Jeremiah play against Lake Braddock at the games, and my wife is a graduate of Lake Braddock.
Oh yeah.
So and they're the Bruins. I'm a Bethel Bruin. But I'm gonna tell you that Lake Braddock, man, they are well coached. But Lee, I am with you. I was at the West Springfield Lake Braddock game 2 years ago, and I was just sitting in the stands before I was on the sideline, and the atmosphere, the culture from those parents and those fans, it was crazy. I felt like I was at an SEC game and people have been tailgating and drinking for hours. Like I'm serious. I've been to games in all parts of Virginia. I've played in games in Lynchburg against Patrick Henry and Roanoke as a player, and I've had some crazy atmospheres. But that Lake Braddock crowd is the same crowd that went down to Highland Springs 2 years ago, and that's what Lee saw. That it is unbelievable, and they travel as well. So, but I just think that Lake Braddock has a little bit more. And but this is the thing. This is just the regular season game. It doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but these teams will probably meet in the playoffs. So I like Lake Braddock to win this one. All right. Hermitage TJ. We'll let you start with that one, Lee.
Man, I saw Hermitage for the first time last week against Highland Springs. So they got a dynamic running back by the name of Avery Curtis. That kid, oh my goodness. He put on a show. He had like, I want to say maybe 213 yards rushing against Highland Springs. I think maybe a couple touchdowns. So I think overall he had like all-purpose 266 yards overall. And TJ, I just think, man, I love Coach E and those guys over there, man. But again, I'm going to keep it simple. Based upon what I've seen and what was going on with TJ, until TJ can prove consistently that they can get back on track, I'm rolling with Hermitage on this one.
Okay. All right. Jeremiah?
I'm gonna go against my current picks and take the higher ranked team in this one. We're gonna take Hermitage on that one.
Okay. Golson.
Even though TJ is near Virginia Union University, I'm going to go with Hermitage.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to say, now, if I'm not mistaken, guys, TJ is class 3.
It went 2 now.
They're 2. They're 2. Okay. And Hermitage is 5.
5.
Ooh.
But they're just in the same district, right?
Yeah, they always been in the Colonia district before we went to this.
The same district. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I because of that, now it's not like teams in the lower classes can't win, people's crushing people in class 3 no matter what.
Yes, sir.
But I'm gonna go with everybody else here and go with Hermitage. Matt?
Yeah, like Lee mentioned, Avery Curtis, who's coming off a 251-yard, 4-touchdown effort against Douglas Freeman. I think he has a big game. But also Andre Clark, the 4-star going to Michigan, could have a big game. I think TJ loses this one, but they might bounce back the next week as a 6 seed. They're a crazy good 6 seed and knock out a 3 seed who's undefeated in Central Lynchburg in the 2A playoffs.
Pulled the cow before I did.
Give me Hermitage the win over TJ in this matchup.
Hermitage only lost 2 games, right? And it was like Highland Springs and Verona.
Hey.
They got it rolling.
Jefferson Forest, Heritage Lynchburg. Matt.
Yeah, Heritage is coming off this big 35-33 win over Liberty Christian. That's the only team, Liberty Christian, to beat Jefferson Forest this year. JT Cruz has a rock-solid defense. I think they have a great chance to win 4D, even though Hanley and GW-Danville, for the time being, are seated ahead of them. I think this one goes under the wire, but given what Heritage just pulled out, I know it's a tough game on the road. I think this is going to be a classic, just like Heritage played. I'm going to give Heritage the slight nod, but it would not surprise me in the least if Jefferson Forest got it done.
Oh wow. Okay. Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with JF on this one. I mean, they've been playing ball this season. They're putting up some points, and they're obviously playing some great defense. So I'm going with JF on this one.
Okay. Lee.
Heritage.
Okay. Heritage. All right. Golson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Heritage at Lynchburg.
Okay. And I'm going to do the same. I'm familiar with this Lynchburg, Heritage Lynchburg had some ballers over the years. And just to say, if they beat Liberty Christian, wow. That's all I can say. All right. Next, Magna Vista, GW-Danville. Matt.
Simeon Moore is a really good quarterback for Magna Vista. Has been playing well. Give you guys a little nugget about this series, and this is a strange little nugget. GW is huge up front on the offensive and defensive line. Got a couple of guys, Chris Law, Donovan Reeves, that are next level prospects, and they've been humming ever since they lost early in the season to GW back in week number 1 to Reidsville of North Carolina. They've won 8 in a row, but in their series with Magna Vista, they've played some classic games here lately. The road team has won every game in this series dating back to 2018. Who's on the road this time? It's Magna Vista. Give me the road team.
That's good. Good man. Jay.
Well, let me say this. A Prince William County team has never beaten a GW-Danville. So I'm going with GW-Danville.
Yeah. Okay. Jeremiah.
So Annandale High School in their last state championship beat GW-Danville. Had to go down there and beat.
Ooh, that's 5 hours.
Had to go down there to win that game in overtime. But shout out to Magna Vista. Ethan Dukes is a running back linebacker from there. Spent some time with him in the camps this summer. His dad, me and him know each other and frat, and the boys got to know each other. Him and his brothers, they got a thing going down in Magna Vista. They haven't given up. I mean, maybe 21 on the season might be the highest they given up. 20, something like that. They're blowing people out the water, and they are running folks over. I'm going Magna Vista in this one.
Okay. All right. And I will go with GW-Danville. I know that for years they've just had quality athletes coming out of there, great programs. A lot of times they just can't get over the hump to actually win state championships, but a really good, solid program. Over in with GW.
I think it's gonna be a shootout, guys, though. I think and Jeremiah made a good point. The defense has been balling out, but I think this could be team with the ball last type of game wins. Maybe something like 38-35, 36-31. It could be a fun one.
Okay. All right. And then our last game is an 8:04 matchup with Manchester versus Huguenot.
Absolutely. Yeah, both teams got it rolling. There's that Coach Scott over there at Huguenot High School, done it at a couple places, got his son balling for him. And you can I'll say this, you really respect how they did it. You know what I mean? They've been in private, he's come to public school, didn't take over a perennial power, and kind of built it up over the past couple of years. And then Manchester, I mean, they've been rolling. I mean, I think back to, what is that, 2019, when they ran through a Freedom team that beat us over at Westfield, and crushed them. And so a good combination. You're going to see an up and coming team that's got it rolling versus a Manchester team who's been there before. And kind of now, are they different divisions though? It's 1-6, 1-5.
Huguenot's 4.
Huguenot's 4, correct?
4.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, and I'll say this, until coming and coaching at a Division 4 school, I was like, but the numbers of kids that you got to work with is total different. That goes into that student body. I think that comes into factor in this game. I like Huguenot in this one. But I think it's going to be a tough road. They're gonna have to make some great plays to overcome a good Manchester team.
Yeah, I'll quickly say, just based on what I've seen and the research I've done, I think that Manchester's going to take this one. Jay.
Well, as a Freedom fan, I'm picking Manchester because that's how they'll make it since 2019. Whew. So I'm going with Manchester.
Matt.
Really fascinating game, guys. I mean, Huguenot might be as athletic as any one-loss team in the entire state. Had that one blemish back in late August to St. Christopher's at Lee Outline Private School in Richmond. Only really close game they played all year. Manchester hasn't taken a blemish, and their only close game was in early September that they won by 3 over Glen Allen. Before Glen Allen's quarterback went down, you got the Michigan commit at linebacker, Markel Dabney leading the way for Huguenot on defense. They can put up a bunch of points, skill players galore in Manchester. You got Jaden Ballard going to West Virginia, one of the receivers, and their quarterback, 4-year starter Landon Abernathy, is really, really good. I think Manchester, with that poise and savvy at the QB spot, the experience, and Coach Scott's son at quarterback for Huguenot's really good too. But I think Manchester finds a way to just get enough done offensively to pull this one out by a score or two. But this is a game where you got two teams that are very live in the playoffs. Neither one's expected to be a 1 seed, but you don't want to draw them early or semifinals. And if you see them in a regional championship, then you know you've done something. But this will be a fun one. I got Manchester close.
Agree with Matt on this one. I think Huguenot got athletes galore. I mean, when you look at offensively and defensively, these kids got Power 5 kids. They got Power 5 all-pers, I should say, all over the field. But when you look at Manchester, just considering this, they had that one close game against Glen Allen. And the thing that hurts the Dominion District, they only can get one out-of-conference game. So it hurts them from playing other teams that they can play to try to see if they can measure themselves outside of the area. But I'm gonna go with Manchester in a close game.
Okay.
I think it's a close game, and the game is at Huguenot. So.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's a great point, Lee. And we're getting ready to wrap up here, but that's a whole other topic. But isn't that the same for well, it's actually worse. The Beach District, they only play Beach District teams, right?
I think that hurts Green Run. I think it does. And it's one of the things they've tried to get out of district.
Yeah.
Remember, Ocean Lakes, one of the years they went to the States, they actually got an out of district game. The Beach made an exception to them one year to play Maury out of district, but I think it hurts those beach teams. And, we'll see if it has an impact for them in Region 5A or if they're able to get to the States and bump into Maury, who they've lost to, I think, in 3 of the last 4 years. But I wish, and it's now going to affect the Bay Rivers teams like Lafayette and Pocosin. I wish that some districts that are set up like that would allow their teams to play out of district games. Just give me a week and a free meal. You ain't got to pay me. I'll go help the teams that are the good teams play good teams, and the teams not so good to play someone on their level to help them maybe make the playoffs. I would love it just to give that fair balance across the board because we don't need to see the 10-0 Powers play the 0-10 teams. The 0-10 teams want to have a chance at a win. So let that happen, and I think you can get people in a room and fix it in a week or two. I know the ADs and administrators are busy. Like I said, just feed me, clothe me. I'm good. I'll do it for you.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, just looking at what Huguenot did. Huguenot scrimmage Kingsport, they scrimmage St. James. Manchester had an excellent off season as well. So it's just a damn shame that you just can't get these teams because you got these old fogies in the district that just won't leave and just retire. They just want to hang around and just make everybody else's job hard. Yeah, I said it. Ball and VA, this on me, not nobody else. I just tell it like it is. You, an administrator or not, it's a new day. We got to get some young blood in here and just be more innovative than what we have before. It's not the 80s. It's definitely not the 70s or the 90s. We in 2025 about to go into 2030, and we just got to get better and do better when it comes to high school sports. And that's just where I'll leave it at that.
So that's what this show is about. Yeah, everybody, some people kind of throw out takes. It's not genuine. It's not from the heart. But that's why I got you up here, Lee, because I know you're talking from the heart. You're talking passion, and you know what you're saying from experience. So I appreciate that was the last word from 804 Lee Mary. Jeremiah Davis, what's your last word?
Yeah, my last word is just a shout out to the coaches, the wives, the families, the players. It's I'm coming into a season where my son is coming to the end of his football career. I know what it was like for mine. Is coming to the end of his high school. I'm sure he'll be a player that plays on Saturdays somewhere else. But I would be remiss to those families, and Lee touched on the community that makes this happen. And I don't want anybody to forget what this is about. This is about enriching young people's lives and creating the atmosphere. The football is one of the last militaristic things that we have in our society. And I'm not getting political at all, but it is. You got to go out of the unit. You got to work as a team. And I just want to shout out to the football families that make football decisions every day by having their kids come out and compete. Shout out to you guys. That's my last word.
Jay Golson.
If you're a senior player this Friday or Saturday when your last game, just sit back, relax, take things in, talk to your teammates, look around, warm-ups, look around, the stadium, have fun, and remember, it's basically to play your last game of the year. It's hard, so enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you, Mac.
Piggyback on pretty much what Jay and Coach Davis and Lee said here, Rusty. I mean, I put in an article on Virginia Preps on one of our recent recaps was Spoken Truth, and it was from Brad Bradley of Hermitage Lynchburg, where he said, quote, "At the end of the day, high school football is going to be over pretty quickly. We try to teach that in life, things aren't always going to go your way, but if you keep punching, you're going to have success eventually. That's what it's all about. Just keep on coming." And that game was a microcosm of that. 7 lead changes, heck of a ball game. So for any kid out there, the seniors, the junior, sophomores, freshmen, the coaches out there, that enjoy this, savor the moment, because it does fly by fast and it ends quickly. And I can't tell you how many people that I've covered over the years or just encountered over the years of doing this for 20 plus years that I come up to and they say, "Man, I wish I could go back to my high school days in 2008 or 2012 and so savor this and enjoy it, and the special times with your families, with your teammates, your brothers, the bonds that you build, those are life lasting. And hopefully we get some classics and some great stories to document and chronicle throughout this postseason run to close out 2025.
That's right. And if you're Jay Golson, like go back to 1974 when he was a senior.
85.
I know. Hey, look, y'all, I just want to close with saying it's good for me to be back, and I feel good about being back in the game. You know, I wanted to do this podcast for a while because I'm passionate about sports, but especially a lot of people will talk NFL, and I love college, but right now, high school sports, it's character building, it's fun, it's about commitment, it's work. You know, you learn about winning and losing. And so you all touched on that, but the thing I want to say is thank you to you all, because you provide a forum, you provide an atmosphere where not just those student athletes get an opportunity, but their parents, their families get an opportunity to just follow what their kids are doing. Look, Jeremiah, I know the love you have. I am so proud of you. I've seen the way you talk to your athletes. I see the way you parent your children. You're blessing a lot of people. Lee, I had the pleasure of being on the sideline with you at Verina and Maury. I know how much you care and how much people appreciate what you bring to the 804. And I appreciate the hospitality you always show me, whether I'm there or we're all of us. I love to be sitting right beside Matt at the VHSL basketball finals at the Siegel Center. You guys have all blessed me in the way. Jay, you have provided a forum for people in Prince William County to just enjoy and talk sports. Some people talk a little trash. We try to monitor that, but it's just, it takes you back to your day, but also it gives people an opportunity to see their children, their student athletes get a little recognition, a little love. And that's one of the reasons that I got into this, because we don't have the same media coverage that we had when we were all growing up, No. Washington Post isn't doing a whole lot of high school stuff anymore. Inside Nova tries the best they can, but they don't get that. So that when people get an opportunity to be interviewed by Matt Hatfield after the game, or coaches get to come on Lee's show, or Jay does his preseason show where coaches and athletes get to come out and talk about stuff, and then Jeremiah, just your connection to student athletes as an administrator, but also what you do with USA football. You're blessing a lot of people. So my last word is thank you. Thank you all for what you do in the community and the way you've blessed a lot of people. So that was the last word from the bullpen. I'm taking pride in this first episode. So whether you're lacing up the cleats, whether you're in the stands, munching on popcorn, sitting there talking about your team versus that team, keep your heart in the game, your soul in the huddle. I'm Rusty Byrd with my bullpen, and this was the last word. So until next time, stay blessed, stay bold, and always keep it locked. DLW is out.
My nigga Johnny got another one.